All his life, Kai had wanted one thing more than food, more than warmth, more than safety. He had wanted to belong to someone, to have a name with a house behind it, to be a person the world would catch if he fell, instead of a boy the world would let drop. He had wanted it so long and so hard that he never once stopped to ask the dangerous question, what does it cost to finally be wanted? He was about to find out. Because after the dueling floor, after the truth in the dark, the houses of Blackflint had stopped trying to erase Kai No House. They had started trying to buy him. Varn came first, and Varn came openly, because that was the way of the anchor. Commander Thrace summoned Kai to the high blue armory, and she did not bind him this time. She let him stand free among the racked weapons and the banners of the soldier house, and she made her offer plainly, the way she did everything. I'll say it once, soldier. She had taken to calling him that. House Varn will take you. A name. Kai Varn, if you want it, or any name you like with our house behind it. Training. Protection. A wall of blue between you and Sail that even he can't read his way through. She folded her scarred arms. In exchange, you are ours. You learn our discipline. You point your gift where we say. You become the thing this island has feared for 300 years, and you become it for us. She held his eye. It is the best offer you will ever get, and I mean it kindly. I have watched 100 no-crowns drown in the politics of this place. I am offering you the one thing that has ever kept anyone afloat here. A house. It was everything Kai had wanted his whole life, offered by the one lord who had never lied to him. He almost said yes. That was the thing he would remember after. How close his mouth came to saying yes. Morran came second, and Morran came in the dark, because that was the way of the shadow. Lady Morran herself, this time, not Wren. The sharp-faced woman with rings on every finger received Kai in a green-lit room and made her offer like a card laid face down. Varn has spoken to you, she said. It wasn't a question. Nothing she said ever was. Thrace offers you a wall. Walls are very fine until the day you wish to leave and find you have built yourself a cell. She smiled. My house offers something better. Not a wall, a door, knowledge, everything we have ever gathered about the 8th house, the unmaking, the reading glass and what it does. We have pieces, boy. Pieces Wren died before he could give you. She let that sit. Cruel and precise. Join Morran, and the dark stops being your enemy. You learn what you are from the only people who bothered to keep the record. In exchange, only that you share what you learn. We are a house of secrets. Yours would simply become one of ours. And there it was. The same hook, dressed 2 different ways. Varn would make him a weapon. Morran would make him a secret. Both would make him theirs. Take neither, Wren said. They were on the tower roof, where the wind ate their words before anyone could catch them. She had not been sent by her house tonight. Kai could tell now, after months, the difference between Wren on an errand and Wren herself. This was herself. You're going to tell me to take Morran, Kai said. Your own house. I'm telling you to take neither, and it's the hardest thing I've ever said. Because my house will skin me for it. Wren pulled her knees up against the cold. Listen. Every word Lady Morran said was true. We do have the pieces. We could teach you. And the day after you joined us, you would stop being Kai and start being a Morran asset. And the first time what you wanted and what the house wanted pulled apart, you would learn which one of those a house keeps. She looked at him. I know. I've been a Morran asset my whole life. I'm one right now, technically, just by sitting here. The only difference between me and you is that you still have the choice I never got. The captain on the ship said it, Kai said slowly. The first day, the sea is always cheaper than a favor from a crown. Wren went still. Then she laughed, soft and sad. He was right. A favor from a crown is never a favor. It's a loan, and they choose when to call it, and they always call it. She turned to him. You came here as the only free person on this island, Kai. No house, no name, no leash. They've spent 5 months trying to take that from you. First with fear and now with kindness. And the kindness is more dangerous because you want it so badly. She put her hand over the black ring on his wrist. Don't sell the only thing that makes you what you are. Not even for the thing you've wanted your whole life. Especially not for that. Kay gave both houses the same answer, and he gave it in the open, because he had learned from Sale that a thing said in front of witnesses is harder to undo. He stood in the dining hall, at the no-crown end of the table that had been his place since the first day, and when Thrace's people and Morran's people came for his answer, he said it loud enough for the whole hall. I'm grateful, he said. Both houses, more than you know. I've wanted a house my whole life, and you offered me one, and there was a moment I'd have wept to say yes. He swallowed, but I've worked out what the offer really is. You don't want to give me a house. You want to give me a leash, and call it a house, because you've never had to tell the difference. He looked from the blue to the green. I was no one when I came here. It turns out no one is the only free thing on this island. I think I'll stay free a while longer, even if it's lonelier, even if it's shorter. The hall was silent. Then, from the no-crown end, Day began, very quietly, to applaud. Round-faced, terrified Det, clapping for the boy who had just turned down 2 crowns to stay nothing. Because someone had to. And the no-crowns had learned that no one else ever would. It was not many hands, but it was the first applause Kai had ever been given in his life, and it came from the people with nothing. And he found it was worth more than a name. Thrace took the refusal like a soldier, a short nod, a flat "you'll regret it, soldier," and the door left open, which was its own kind of respect. Lady Morran took it like a Morran. She smiled and said nothing, and filed it away. And later that night, she summoned Wren, and Kai's friend stood before her mistress in the green-lit room and understood, with a cold falling feeling, that a refusal by proxy had been noticed. You advised him, Lady Morran said, not as I instructed, as yourself. She turned one ringed finger in the light. I have been patient with your fondness for the Ash boy, child. It has been useful. An asset close to him is worth a great deal. But you are beginning to confuse the asset with the friend. She looked up, and her green-grey eyes were Wren's eyes, grown old and final. So I will give you a small task to remind you which you are. At the dark of the moon, Lord Sale moves against the boy. We will not stop it. It does not serve us to spend the house on a fight that isn't ours. You will simply make sure you are not standing next to Kai when it happens. You will be elsewhere. You will let it happen. She smiled. Prove to me you are still a Morran, Wren. Choose the house, as we all must in the end. And Wren, who had promised Kai that before she chose she would tell him first, walked out of the green-lit room with the worst secret in the island sitting in her chest like a swallowed coal. She had until the dark of the moon to decide what she was. That was Sigil and Ash, Episode 7, the weight of a name. The story continues in Episode 8. The Ashman subscribe to follow Kai's story.